If it's Aussie and it rocks, it's right here. This is Triple M's Homegrown with Matty O.
Yes, right around the country on the Triple M network. That is 49 stations and on the listener app. What a treat it is to welcome to the show an act that's always been on the bucket list. Musicians, producers, songwriters, family. It's a special, unique relationship that's seen them travel around the world performing to thousands of people at festivals, theatres, arenas, you name it. An amazing journey, and now we have a new record, which is worth celebrating. Fans around the world are counting down the days, but what an incredible body of work. Tracks like The Beast. And The Boys, and then they took over the world. Hit after hit after hit. Chateau to Snow. And what is so cool is incredible solo careers too. Julia Stone, of course, Dope Lemon. And the title track to the brand new album, we are excited. It is an absolute pleasure to welcome to the Triple M studios Angus and Julia Stone. Thank you so much for popping in.
Thanks, Matty. How are you?
I'm really, really well. Good to see you again. Last time I saw you, you were travelling the world, Saudi Arabia and the States. How was it?
It was absolutely wonderful. Yeah, the Dope Lemon World Tour was. It was far out.
Mm. And now you guys are back in Melbourne on a very brief Australian trip. Like your schedules are pretty crazy now, right?
Yeah, it's been wild actually because Angus and I haven't. We did a soundtrack record a few years ago, but it's been 6 years since we've put out Snow. Was that our last record we toured?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was 2017.
Yeah, wow.
So I sort of had forgotten what it's like to promote a record. It's been wild. It's been fun though. We just came from, it was like 4 days press in Paris, then Berlin, and then we did a bit of recording in an amazing island in Greece actually.
Yeah, cool. And what I love about the track that we've been given, Cape Forestier, we were talking about off air, is the video clip. Like taking us back to the early days of the band, like the load-ins, the load-outs, the radio spots that you do, and, you know, the support slots as well when you're setting up in front of the main band. Does that feel like yesterday or does it feel like a lifetime ago looking back at all that early footage?
I guess both.
A bit of both, yeah. I mean, time is just this, I don't know.
It's a bendy thing.
Yeah.
It feels like it pivots each day. You'll feel like it's yesterday and then you'll feel like it's a million years ago. I think it's based on the mood that you're in the moment.
Yeah, and I suppose like for us, like we still are desperate to be supports. We love it. We love going
Give us
on
that half-hour set.
Give us a half-hour set before other people's fans. It's just absolutely dreamy. And yeah, in that video, it shows footage of our first sort of big support slot with Casey Chambers, and that was massive for us. And then, you know, only recently, probably 5 years ago, we got to tour with Fleetwood Mac, and you know, it's just been it's a wild journey, and so it sort of still feels like that.
Yeah, I love the tour van with like the Gaffer taped windows. Do you remember that tour van?
Yeah, we had when we first moved to London. This lovely, it was David Boyd, right?
Yeah.
So David Boyd, he's this incredible human that basically he discovered our music and he offered us some money when we were really young. We're probably like 20, 21.
Yeah.
And he said, would you like to come over to London and make a record with a guy called Chris Potter? He did all the Verve and those incredible, all these incredible albums. Anyways, we went over there and we lived in Notting Hill for a couple of years. And we're on a budget. This is, you know, Julia and I when we were scratching around in the dirt and doing open mic nights and sort of making making a pathway for what we
Yeah,
wanted.
like catching the bus to the gigs, like with all of our gear.
Oh, really? Yeah, cool.
Yeah,
On
like
the big red
big red,
buses
big red
in
London buses.
and the tube. And then we got to a point where like we should buy a car, and I think we spent £500.
Yeah, it was £500 for a Tarago. Remember those kind of like
It looks like a
spaceshipy, but
Yes, I know the ones you're talking.
you
It's
know
like
the
a-
ones?
Yes,
It's
I
like
do.
your friend's mum has a Tarago,
Yeah.
So we got this beat up Tarago,
navy blue.
navy blue, and geez, we'd hit the autobahn, and there'd just be Lamborghinis just fanging past,
Yeah.
and we'd been in this little like, the car would literally be wobbling from going 140 too fast
was
for
gonna
that
say.
type of wagon.
Yeah, we drove it everywhere.
But we had one night where we parked in London. We had a show, and
I think it was at the Barfly.
Oh, cool.
and someone decided that they wanted whatever was inside. And
It
they
wasn't that much. It was like
like a
Mitch's leather
jacket
jacket or something. And
Oh, really?
a couple of shitty things, but like
and they
not
busted
much.
out. They busted out 2 windows to get
Oh,
in.
really?
So
Yeah.
we got some cardboard out.
Cool, because we couldn't afford to change the windows.
That's right. It'd probably be worth more than car to change the window. So we gaffered 2 cardboard windows,
Oh, my God.
and then literally like 2 nights later, we were playing another show.
Oh, that's
somewhere.
right. Yeah, in Nottingham,
Someone wanted whatever was inside again.
No way.
which was nothing.
Instead of just pushing in the cardboard windows that we'd made,
Yeah.
they busted out the back
no.
window again. So we got out the cardboard and
Yeah, it
taped
was
up the window.
cold traveling. Everybody used to have to travel in their jackets in the car
my
with the noise,
God.
like hey.
We'd be on the autobahn. The windows were just going bob 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 bob.
Yeah.
So that was that was our sort of beginning, the origin story of Julia and I.
Yeah, it's funny
Wow,
in
that's
that
so cool.
in that
Yeah.
video, like a lot of that footage was from that time, and you know, we did things like that where you'd play a gig in the top of Scotland, and then you'd have a festival the next day, and we'd drive overnight, and we'd all sort of take turns, and we shouldn't have been driving, like people
Yeah.
just so tired, but looking at that footage, we were always so happy,
Yeah.
we felt so lucky, and we just were living our dream, just getting offered a festival or even getting a half-hour spot at an acoustic night. For us, it was just, it was the stuff of dreams, and we were living it. And so we never I don't think we ever got down about, our cardboard windows or our pizza every night because it was the cheapest thing
Yeah.
we could eat.
Just another thing to like laugh about, hey? Because it's all
Yeah.
new.
Yeah. It's I think it's the thing of something. Yeah, it's all new.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
And that's right. It was just the getting to A to B we're never dealing with luxuries. It was
Yeah.
more about we knew what we wanted to do, and the music made us feel good. And I think fundamentally that's what matters, and that's why probably we're still here doing it.
Yeah, because we never really had an end goal. We just sort of thought, this is pretty fun, let's keep doing it. And I guess that's what we still think.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
It must be cool too, like, having that story when you lived abroad and you're doing a lot of touring around the UK and Europe, to go back now when you're obviously like a bigger band. Do you go back to like the old haunts that you used to go to when you were there? Like,
we Angus talked about Notting Hill. We also lived for a little period of time over in Hackney, and we lived right by London Fields, and there was a really cool sort of market, and they still have that market, Broadway markets, and it's, whenever we go to London and play, it's so nice. There was this one cafe we used to go to, and you get a halloumi and tomato sandwich, and I've
nice.
gone back and just sit in there, and I think it's something about, there's something nostalgic about doing things that you've done before and feeling the flood of memories coming back.
yeah, definitely. And I mean, how exciting is it going to be, like going right around the world with new music and a new album? Like the fans have gone crazy. I've been checking everything. When did the writing kind of begin for this project? Was it something you'd already planned, or was it kind of organic between the two of you?
Yeah, the writing started when Angus was 16 for this record.
Oh, wow.
So there's songs from all different times.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of a collection of, some songs you'll pocket and put under in an old shoebox, under the bed for a rainy day, and
Yeah.
sometimes songs don't want to exist, that for whatever reason they're not ready for the world. And when it came to making this record, we did a bit of reflecting and digging on some old bits of writing and recording and stuff that didn't really make the cut back in the day. And I don't know, it's something, there's a symbolic way of when you're younger, you're not overcomplicating the lyrics, and not that we do that now, but it's just there was an even more simplistic way of viewing the world. And No Boat, No Aeroplane was one of those songs that when listening to it now, it almost hits harder for me because it has a whole new meaning. And you see the world and the things you wrote with new goggles on. You know, it's a cool way of of revamping and revisiting the world that you lived in. With new eyes. And
I guess that's like the record sort of started from I think Cape Forestier was one of the earlier ones we were writing, and I think when Angus and I started to talk about turning it into a record, some of those songs like No Boat, No Aeroplane, they just resonated with the atmosphere of where we were going, and it felt like it was, because Angus has got this amazing studio that he's created, Sugarcane Mountain Studios, and so I went up to see him and see it and hang out, and it was like we were kids again writing songs in the living room, and I think because of that, it reminded us of songs that we wrote, you know, in the living room. And so all of a sudden it was like, hey, whatever happened to, and that's sort of how it occurred, the No Boat, No Aeroplane thing. And Down to the Sea was also from the archives. They all got reworked to kind of work with who we are now. But like Angus said, lyrically, they take on a whole new meaning.
Yeah, that's so interesting. It's really cool because I guess you got to be in the right headspace for a song to work. Doesn't mean that the idea is bad. It's just it's not meant for that right time. So that's really cool that you guys can reconnect with these songs.
Well, also maybe like something I just thought then is like sometimes you write a song. I mean, often for me when I'm writing, I don't really know what I'm writing about.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you write a song, you kind of like, if you don't really understand it completely, you don't necessarily want to perform it or put it out. And then all of a sudden, you understand it, you know, because you've gone through something that actually is what you were writing about back then, which is the kind of magic of music and songwriting, because it's not necessarily a conscious kind of like story.
Yeah. How long's the recording process for this one? How long has it been?
It was scattered. I was on tour with Dope Lemon, and Julia was, you were off in the world writing.
Yeah, I was in Berlin for about 3 months during the process of making this, and we started at Sugarcane for about a month, I guess.
Awesome.
Yeah, and then Julia would send me tracks whilst I was on the road, and we travel with a portable studio, and wherever you are, which is the beauty of this time that we're in, is being able to create, at the drop of a hat, anywhere in the world. You'll walk into a hotel room and with the microphones that are available and just the small finite amount of gear that you need to make something that is studio quality of $1 million is such a treat. So we were sort of doing that along the way, and sending things back and forth, and
we wrote a list of like all the different cities that the record was made in, and it's like it was all the Dope Lemon sort of points, Nashville and Austin and then Berlin, and then down in up in the Northern Rivers. So it's been it's sort of like a living room record, but also of the world.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you guys need like a deadline when you're recording to finish it, or you keep going, or you guys are kind of? We're
pretty good at I mean, we've always been good at getting stuff out. When we want to. We're both we're endlessly writing, and I think one of the blessings we've had, and this probably comes from our parents. we've had a lot of peers and friends who have they really struggle with perfectionism, and make great records, and they're just never going to release them.
You're right.
And
That's a really good point. Yeah.
yeah, and it's tough to watch because you're just like, you just got to get it out there because you kind of can't be the judge of whether it's perfect or not. At some point, you just got to trust, and so we've been good like that. Certainly, we're like all people, having some deadline is helpful, just because we're floaty. But yeah, when it gets to that point, we're really ready to put it out. So. Perfect or not, it's going out there.
Yeah. Well, everything we've heard's been amazing, and I've always been such a big fan of you guys. And one of the reasons why. I lost you in the shadow. You go somewhere. Now, you guys are singing harmony on this track.
Yeah.
Like, that's incredibly difficult, and the way you guys sing together is unlike anyone else, I feel. Like, when I hear other bands and, there might be dual singers, I feel like it's like, all right, you got the verse, I got the chorus, you got the bridge, then I'll come back. You guys have this amazing ability to weave in and out of each other. It's almost like one singer. Like, how do you do that when you're kind of putting it down? Like, Chateau is another example, Snow too. Like, when you're coming up with the vocal ideas, how does that kind of work when you're piecing it all together?
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about it the other day. We've sung with a lot of incredible people in the world, and really when it comes to it and you talk about it and there's nothing quite like singing with joy. There's something that happens that it's the same DNA. It's the way that probably our vocal cords are entwined in the way of being family, and also I think it's more than that. It's sort of a spiritual side of it where
big time.
You just know what's happening, and it all plays into when we sit down and sing together. It's really special. And it happens every time. You can't really avoid it. But It's a cool thing. I think that's what probably brings us back together when there's a certain magic that happens, and especially live. Like we just played over in Zermatt in Switzerland.
Yeah, I saw that
at this festival, and it was our first show. And not playing for so long is a little bit. It's not daunting, but you're sort of like, what's going to happen?
Of course.
Yeah, there's a sense of the unknown for sure before you walk out on stage.
And it just felt like walking into the living room and
how good,
just doing what we've always done, and it was a beautiful night. And I think what we're moving into this world tour, it's going to be really special. Yeah,
absolutely. Let's talk about this tour because point of recording right now. You're going right around the world. Lyon, both Paris shows sold out already. Montreal, Amsterdam, New York, LA, Toronto. 2 shows at the State Theatre in Sydney, the Palais in Melbourne, QPAC Arena in Brisbane, likely to do another one. What does it feel like to have an album out, like before your album's even out? And there's such this, huge demand from, this audience that just absolutely adore you. Like, it just must be so cool. Like, we're talking about the early days before where you were busking and now you're playing these amazing theatres right around the world.
Yeah, I mean, it's a total trip. It's like, you're right. We started out busking in the Manly Corso, and our first sort of big moment was we won a busking competition, and the prize was a spot at the Pete's Ridge Festival.
Oh, cool.
And in the chai tent. And we were just so stoked, it was like, it was just magic. And I think every time you make something new or put a tour on sale, of course we trust the team that we've got around us. We've been really lucky to have such an incredible group of people that, like, success doesn't happen in a vacuum. It's people that believe in you, and we've had so many champions of our music, including our booking agents. So they sort of tell us what they think will happen. But certainly we didn't expect them to all sell out. We were sort of thinking, we've got a few months and we'll promote the shows. But it's been so moving, and I think we've been away for a while. So I think it's nice, particularly for our fans in Europe, where we haven't been back for 7 years.
Yeah.
I think they're excited to see us again. So that'll be nice.
Absolutely. Speaking of your fans, I'd just like to play a snippet of this.
You know how lovely you are in the moonlight. In the moonlight of my heart. We're gonna be.
I love this. Can you take us behind the concept of the wedding song?
We grew up falling asleep under tables at weddings, and the murmurs of celebration.
Yeah.
As kids, because our dad was a wedding singer, and it was kind of just a part of our sort of our second nature to be in those scenarios. And I mean that's just sort of separate, because
I mean, basically Angus is just promoting us. We're trying to just let people know
a wedding, funeral,
we'll be there,
or any of the above.
I'll MC.
Yeah,
a package deal.
But when it came to it, we wrote this song for friends of ours that were getting married, and it's probably the cheapest and easiest way to buy a gift for someone. But it was a good. When it came to making the music video for this,
cool.
It was really cool.
It was a really beautiful moment.
We put out.
How did it happen? It was like what we had played the song at the wedding. The friends that we wrote it for, and then. Basically, they came to one of our shows in Brisbane, and we thought, it'd be super nice because they're here to sing the song for them, and it hadn't been released. We sang the song live, and the crowd really liked it. And then we did it at a few more shows, and one of those shows, there was a recording made of it that wasn't really a great recording. It was, live can sometimes be pretty rough.
Of course.
And, like someone's sort of scratchy recording of an MP3 that then got shared amongst fans. And then people started sending in footage of their weddings, and they were using this bad version of the song. Yeah. You could hear the crowd, and it was like, but it was nice. But Angus and I, when we were talking about this record, we thought, why don't we make a really nice version for the fans?
Awesome.
So people who want to get married to the song have a really sort of nice studio version, and then that turned into reaching out to some of the people who had sent in videos originally, and then we did a big call out saying if you want to be involved in the video, and we thought what a nice way to reconnect with the community after 7 years. And we got it was like
800 videos.
Oh, cool.
Just from all over the world.
Yeah.
Amazing videos, like Bollywood weddings, and then just like ceremonies of love out in the forest, and it was just so magic. And
the African desert to the backyards of Australia. It's very emotional. Lots of sifting through, lots of videos. I think we got down to about 80.
Yeah, we couldn't squeeze in more than 80 in a 3-minute song in a video. So we wished we could get everybody's videos in. It was. But we wrote to everybody, and we personally wrote a letter to each person who sent a video in and told them, how much we'd enjoyed watching, because every video was special, as is love,
Yeah. I was going through the comments on that video as well, and I just want to give a shout out to some of the people who have commented, like Eric Leonardo 6504 said, "It's such an honour to be part of this video. Me and my wife love to listen to your songs together, and now our special day is one of them. We hope to see you in Brazil someday." And then we've got Monster Party 88. "This was my wedding song. When my husband and I were first dating, he surprised me interstate when I was on a work trip to go to your concert. I cried the first time I heard that song that night. Thank you for making such a beautiful soundtrack to our lives." Like, how cool is that to hear it from the fans themselves, right?
That's so neat. I mean, it really hits home every time when I don't necessarily go through the comments, but when someone reads it out, those ones that the guy in Belgium.
We did this interview in Belgium and just recently, and he was reading some of the comments like you just did now, and I was really trying to like not start crying because it was like some of them just people saying about, you know, like the music has helped them through really hard times and you know, when you hear that, it's, you know, you don't write music thinking about that stuff, and then you hear what it's doing out in the world and you feel like, you know, well, what more could you hope for to be offering something, you know, and it's sort of weird because you write music because it helps you know, like it helps us to be more honest with ourselves. And I think music for us has always been a way to say things to ourselves that we can't say in our minds. And anyway, it really trips us out. And we probably don't read the comments too often because it is very emotional and you're trying to keep it together.
Yeah. That actually reminds me of a quote I read from you, Angus. You said, life is complicated, confusing and strange at times, but music isn't. Not for us. It's something we do to feel normal. It's quite rare to have like music as an outlet like that. And I think when people think about like playing music and learning instruments, they often think it's too late to start, but it's not.
It's really not.
And it's like you can pick up a guitar at any time, and even if you're just strumming a chord, like music therapy is a real thing, right? Like that's something big for you guys.
100%. Yeah, it's like what Julia said. It's you're telling yourself things that you wouldn't normally be able to do, and you constantly. Also, the meaning of a song changes when you people ask. They're like, oh, what's it? You know, playing the same songs all the time, and how does it make you feel, or hitting on those nerves that of something obviously that was quite it was big enough in your life at the time to put into a song and write about. But I feel like the beauty of it is it's constantly evolving and changing each day, because we wake up and the things we're going through as human beings it's cool. It's you sort of you adapt what you're going through to the song, and you push out this new meaning on stage, and it can be really positive and healing for you as a musician, and what we do. I think we're very lucky to be able to live in this world and do what we do.
Yeah, and our mum and dad, you know, they were great in the way that they always said, you know, anyone can sing. And you know, like, you know, we were raised listening to like Bob Dylan and Neil Young, and they don't have traditionally like perfect voices, but it was about what they were saying. And I think Angus and I we like really try to encourage people to like, you know, in our sort of home environments, like sing along or like write a lyric, you know, like, and everyone's got it in them. And I think if you have even the smallest inclination that you want to write, whether it's even just like writing poetry or you want to dance, or this stuff is like, it's the juice of life, and it brings so much catharsis, you know, to human experience. And I think humans are a complex, like Angus said, you know, it's a complex and strange and confusing thing, but we've always been like this, you know. This is the nature of what it is to have consciousness, and so find a thing that just helps process some of it.
Yeah. And I mean, you guys are music fans as well. Like, there's nothing better if you're feeling down or whatever. There's a song that just picks you up. Hey?
Sometimes you need it, you know. You got this feeling and you're like, I need to cry. Like, and I don't know why. I don't know what it is. And you just know that song, you put it on. And for me, that's like, I put on Stacks by Bon Iver and I'm just gone. It's like, gets me every time. I don't know what it's like the way, I don't even really know what the song's about. Yeah. But I just feel when I hear it so much. Yeah. Yeah, the sound.
Yeah. No, well said.
What's your song, Angus?
I mean, lately I've been listening to B.I.G., Notorious.
Hip hop.
Yeah, nice. Just I get off the plane and I've been hitting
nice,
hitting those bangers. just I don't know, something about that at the moment. I'm sort of getting into, and what else? Shit, what are they called? Suicide Boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been listening to a bunch of Suicide Boys. Just I don't know. Just moving through different genres and an eclectic playlist.
Yeah, cool. I think we've only got 5 minutes, so I'm going to do one thing.
I took a walk down memory lane.
So what I've done is I've gone through your gig history and I've plucked out random ones, and I want to see what you remember about it. It might not be like performing. It might be like you said, like driving and getting the car getting busted into or whatever. So I've gone through the archives of Angus and Julia Stone, and I want to go back to, I think, your first Splendour in the Grass. We had Sonic Youth, Girling, Vines 2, Green Spoon.
Can't get started.
Clap your hands, say yeah, something for Kate. First Splendour, any memories?
I mean, the first thing that comes to my mind is how, like, the lineup. I mean, at the time, folk music just wasn't really like a big thing.
Yeah.
And I remember being like, oh my God, you know, all the music was just pounding through those tents. And I was thinking, how are we going to cut through this sound? And I do remember that. That was when, remember Dashanka was on bass with us.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
And Mitch on drums. It was so early.
Yeah.
Like Splendour was still growing back then.
Yeah. Well, this one would have been special. Your first big day out. Killers, Muse are on there too. Lupe.
Oh, that.
Lupe, you even had big day out. You would have gone growing up, I'm assuming, maybe. Do you remember the phone call you actually got when they told you that you were on? Sometimes getting the phone call is like a huge moment in itself.
Yeah, I mean, I think we were probably. How old were we then when that was sort of?
I reckon that would have been like, you would have been like 24 and I would have been, or maybe younger, 23.
It was 2007.
2007. I'm so bad.
Yeah,
Maths.
no, me too.
I think Rage was playing that year.
Oh,
as well.
cool. Yeah.
23. Wait,
Rage Against the Machine.
Silverchair as well.
Silverchair.
I remember what I was wearing. I'd had my wisdom teeth out and I had that green. Remember I used to wear that green dress? You probably don't remember this. But I had my wisdom teeth out like 4 days before and the stitches were still in my mouth.
What?
You're nice and puffy.
Yeah, I was puffy and I was on the medication and I remember I had to play the trumpet for Private Lawns.
Oh, no.
And I could feel the stitches as I was playing. It was like, but it was in that we played the lily pad.
Oh, cool.
That's right.
We played the lily pad and there was like a mushroom dancing down the front. It was like a really trippy scene and it was sort of like all the kind of hippie folk had come to see us because we were the like hippie
course.
band.
So was this when you were living overseas and you would come back to play?
I think so, yeah.
Cool.
That was when we were living in London.
Yeah, nice. Any memories from just like being on a tour? Like, was that the first big kind of tour for you guys?
Oh, the first big day out, we weren't on the tour. We were just we just had a one-off spot at the lily pad.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
The second big day out was the tour. That was when we were, Sia played after us.
Yeah.
It was like Edward Sharp and the Magnetic
That's
Zeros,
right.
Meg
Yeah.
Washington, Sia, and us on a stage.
Yeah, I remember that one. Is it Edward, the singer from Edward Sharp?
I don't think
Yeah.
his name is Edward. I think it's Alex.
Alex, that's right.
Yeah.
Alex came up and we had a really good chat talking about why it is that we're here and doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
And
Oh, that was the year as well that the Hottest 100 was announced. That was
Oh,
when
really?
Big Jet Plane,
okay.
because remember they took us, we'd just played,
right, yeah.
they took us through this weird place and we sat in a little caravan and we didn't know what was going on.
Oh, so you had no idea?
No
Like,
idea.
none?
No idea. I mean, we knew the Hottest 100 was on, but we weren't like across it, you know,
Yeah,
we were
yeah.
sort of like, we were busy and we were playing shows and whatever. And then all of a sudden they're like, come with us, you know, you get, and we were sort of like, what are they up to? Like what number? And
that's
then,
right. And we're sitting there and we're kind of like,
what number are they at?
number 2. Right? That was number 2. So there's one.
It was really strange.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
That's winning the Hottest 100 is probably like the biggest thing in Australia. Like,
was-
it's crazy.
Yeah, it was wild.
It was very strange for us. We weren't ever sort of we never thought that would happen.
Of course.
Yeah.
And being sitting there at the desk and they're all around, we thought it was just really confusing.
It was so confusing. I think even our reaction was like, I think there was an expectation maybe like we'd be cheering or something, but I think we were just both so confused. It was like, is this a joke or something?
Still trying to figure it out.
Hey, what was it like touring with the Mac? You had Stonefield on as well. Who were opening? What was that like?
It was crazy.
Yeah, it was
I mean, you can't imagine like life goals for us. Like when we got the call to tour with Fleetwood Mac, it was just like, it was a really unbelievable experience. They were so lovely and so amazing every night, and we got to hang out with Stevie, and that was
cool.
That was the stuff of dreams because we had all these questions, and she was so generous and just like we were like just kids like, and what about, and
Yeah.
She was cool. She was really open with it all. And we've been really lucky, like Julia said, the champions that have taken us under their wing, like Paul Kelly and Fran from Travis, and
Cool.
we just played with Ben Harper and we did a tour, and Rick and just, I don't know, it feels like it's just if you're authentic in what you do, and with, I don't know, it feels like it's the law of attraction, and all the wisdom that we've gotten from these champions along the way has been really helpful.
it's been really inspiring.
Yeah,
It is a big learning curve when you do those kind of big supports because you're learning things without kind of, you know what I mean? You're subconsciously learning how these guys perform,
That's
they show
right.
up, what they're doing before the gig. It's a pretty special thing.
Yeah, it's subconscious learning. You're right.
Yeah.
It's like you're kind of just taking in so much. And I mean, one of our biggest shows was with Fleetwood Mac. I think they played a stadium in New Zealand to like 50,000 people, and it was just
Oh, really?
It was wild playing a show that size because
I bet.
they're just like humans become like tiny little like wallpaper. They're just like this moving.
it's like last night we were it was the Kudos Arena.
Yeah. We got up and sang a song with Niall Horan.
Oh, really? Oh, cool. Yeah, nice.
He hit us up, and it was sort of standing backstage, and there's the big curtains, and you kind of like, all right, so we're on next, and he's like, yeah, one more song. And you're like,
Yeah, they're very relaxed. Their crew just like so lovely.
Nice.
the crowd is just, it's Litzomania, like the cicada level of
Oh, the
screaming.
noise. Yeah.
Oh, of course.
And Niall said something really sweet. He was kind of like, the first time I heard these guys, it's like inspired me to,
Wow, cool.
want to be doing what I'm doing. And we're standing there like, what's going on? Sometimes it's just so incredible.
Yeah.
What it feels like you're a character in some sort of incredible journey movie, and walking on, and like Julia said, it's just sometimes it's mind blowing, and
Totally.
yeah.
Is it more daunting just doing the one song because it's kind of
Yeah,
You're
in a way it is because you kind of don't, like when you do a set, you get time to
settle in.
warm up,
Yeah.
like sometimes the first song you're a little bit like, whoa, and then, by track 2, you kind of, you're at home again.
Yeah.
One song in someone else's massive show is
Of
like,
course.
Angus got up and did a song with Post at the Chili Peppers show, and that was pretty crazy. That was like,
Yeah.
how many people, like 80,000 people or something at the stadium.
Yeah, we're all there. We saw it. It was unreal.
Oh, cool. Yeah, it's you sort of have to. I think you just got to step up and
Yeah, you kind of just have to go through it, and it feels weird, and sometimes you disassociate a bit. I think you have to just sort of like try and go inward a bit and think.
Yeah.
You know what a good trick is? To remember, like to try and think about the emotion of the song. Because if you just sort of like go into like, well, what is the song about? And like kind of can take away and make you forget the surroundings.
Yeah.
Because then it's not really
Of
about
course,
you.
Yeah. Awesome. I think we got to wrap things up. Thank you so much for coming in and chatting. I'm so pumped for this album. We're so pumped for the tour. We can't wait to see you here in Melbourne. And we know that It was your birthday on the 13th.
Thank you.
And it was your birthday 5 days ago. Now, what we've done before is like normally we'll bring in like a full cake to say the happy birthday, but we know that you guys probably can't take a cake out. So, and we're not actually, Jules, I don't think you're allowed to have that lit. Yeah, you got to blow it out.
The smoke alarms.
Yeah, Jules, you actually got to blow that out.
Make a wish for me.
Yeah. Maybe cover the. So anyway, happy birthday, guys.
Thank you.
Really sweet.
Yeah, so feel free to half this delicious
Thank
cake we got from downstairs.
Ah, thank you. What was the wish you made for me?
Not to have the. You don't want to get the building evacuated.
For all the latest rock news, interviews, and backstage experiences, don't forget to subscribe to Triple M Rock on the Listener app.
Oh, hey, you just watched another Triple M Homegrown highlight. So if you're not subscribed already, click on the buttons all around wherever you get your podcast. Make sure you're listening. And that way, when we get all the bands in, you're going to be the first to see the chats. You'll see them even before the bands. So don't miss a moment. Get our latest videos. Keep up to date with Triple M's Homegrown and keep up to date with whatever's happening on Triple M.